So November contest was a big success. We had 36 participants who sent in over 170 photos. And from all the different categories, we do have 2 winners on tonight. Brandon and Adita was on. So I'm just going to share my screen. And so, hold on 1 second. So there was Brandon. Each winner got a framed photo of their photo. So there was Brandon's the other day. And there's Adita's as well. So something to work for. If you guys are interested in doing that, then it's a chance to participate, send photos in, and we're going to have winners again. We're going to have different categories. So yes, round of applause for those guys. Good work. Congratulations. It was a tough judging process with 170 photos to go through them all. We sat and we spent quite a bit of time doing it. It wasn't a rush thing. We talked about it. We went back and looked again. We talked about it a little bit more, and they're the winners we came up with. So, so think about it today. We're going to go through. Marco's going to give you some hints and tips about taking better photographs, good photographs, and then he's going to do the big reveal. You guys are going to be the first ones to know what the 3 categories are. Again, we're going to have 3 categories again for February. And you guys are going to hear it here first today. You're going to be the first ones to know. And then the contest is going to run from February 1st through February 28th. So we have about 10 days till the start of it. So you guys can start thinking about what you want to take photos of and get some practice in. And then once February comes along, you'll be able to submit those photos. So if you have questions during this meeting, just put them in the chat box down the bottom of the screen. You click on it, you can type in whatever question you have. And then we'll maybe open it up to questions at the end if we have time. But it's now my pleasure to hand it over to Marco. He's going to go over, give you some hints and tips, and do that big reveal. So take it away, Marco.
Thank you very much, Matt. And hello, everybody. This is going to be fun. Really looking forward to seeing everybody's submissions soon. And let's dive into this. So here we go. Can everybody see the screen? So yes, as Matt said, welcome to the reveal of this season's winter contest of the categories. And before that, I will talk a little bit about how to make a bit stronger images. And I just got unmuted. Okay, here we go. So yes, I'll be talking about how to make stronger images and also about some pros and cons of cell phone photography, because a lot of people are using their cell phones to photograph. This is pretty much what I just said. And so this is the overview on how it's structured. The introduction, cell phone photography, then tips and tricks, then how to upload the images for the contest. It's straightforward. And then the 3 categories. Just a quick introduction for those who don't know me yet. I am Marco Catini. I am a professional photographer, work weddings and events, which hasn't happened a lot in the last few months. And I've been a Special Olympics volunteer since 2015 for mainly Special Olympics in Jersey, but also for some USA and for some North America events. This is something that I think is very important to think about when taking photos, because we don't take photos, we make them. By that, Ansel Adams, who is an amazing photographer, was an amazing photographer, what he meant is it's the decisions the photographer makes that make an interesting image. It's all about the intent, the editing, the processing. It's all about the photographer. Let's start with cell phone photography. A cell phone is, let me go back to this quickly. So this is a cell phone photography. Why do we use this a lot instead of using this? Have you ever tried to put this in a pocket? Doesn't work. And with the money I pay for this, I buy many of these. So convenience and price are some really good reasons for a cell phone. Back to this, there's a saying that says the best camera is the camera you have with you. So if you have the cell phone with you with a cell phone camera, that's the best camera you have. I love to take photos with my big camera because it has some advantages over a cell phone camera. But in the end, the important thing is your vision, your creativity is what you do, what you want to do, and how you see what's in front of you. But as I said, there are some drawbacks to a cell phone, to using a cell phone for photography, or drawbacks. I was going to say, sorry, go back, is some things that we have to be mindful of when using our cell phones. One is, how often have you cleaned the lens of your cell phone? The cell phone lives, where does a cell phone live? In your pants pocket, in your purse. We hold it in our hands when we're bored, we play with it, and we end up smudging the lens with our fingers all the time. So once in a while, let's clean the lens with a microfiber cloth or a lens cleaning wipe, just nothing aggressive or pointy or scratchy. And while you're at it, while you're cleaning the lens of your phone, just clean the whole phone. It just usually is probably a good idea to clean your phone. Another thing to be mindful of is when taking photos of a cell phone is that the screen of your cell phone is a big monitor. It has a lot of light in it and it's bright. And when you look at it, it's usually, yeah, very, very bright. Sometimes we change the brightness of the screen because we're in a dark spot, in a dark room or in a bright room. And we tend to forget to change the brightness back when we go somewhere. And we take a photo and it looks very, very bright because we think, because we forget that the screen has been set to very bright. Or the photo looks dark because we forget that we had the screen set to dark. What I mean by this, by something to look out for with the bright screen is just check how you have your screen brightness set, your phone's brightness level. A cell phone camera has a lot of functions, a lot of things it can do, many, many more things actually than my professional camera can do. So I am somewhat jealous, to be honest. But these are a few things that you should make yourself familiar with on when you use your cell phone to photograph. You can use grid lines. Those are those hash lines or hash marks that can be on your screen that help you with lining up the horizon so your camera is level. You can do burst mode, which is you can take dozens of photos per second. So if you have somebody running, you can take a lot of photos and then see which photo is best. You have HDR, which is an acronym for high dynamic range, which usually combines several photos of situations where the light is tricky to bring out the best of the dark parts and the bright parts and make a great photo out of it. You have a lot of different camera modes. You have a portrait mode, panoramic, slow motion, time lapse. You can select where the camera is supposed to focus. You can do that with just a tap on the screen. You can change the brightness of the image, which ties back to the brightness of the screen that I mentioned before. You can use filters, black and white filters or other presets. And the camera also has a flash. The cell phone has a flash. Make yourself familiar with these functions. See what they do. See how to turn them on, how to turn them off. Play around with it. And if the photos are not good, delete them. That's the beauty of cell phone photography. You don't have to show anyone bad photos if you're not happy with them. You can just delete them. I'll go into, or I'll continue with cell phone, a bit about cell phones later, but I'd like to do a quick switch to how to make stronger photos. You've probably heard the saying, a photo is worth 1,000 words. And sometimes a photo says more than 1,000 words. And also sometimes a photo says 1,000 words, but you don't like all of them. So to show what I mean by this, I walked around my town a few weeks ago and figured, oh, look at this building. It's kind of cool. It says Motown on it. I want to take a photo of it. But I don't like this image because I think there's too much sky in it. It's weird. It doesn't make me happy. So I take the next photo and it's just, oh, look, the sky is gone. That's good. But that car to the left is not very nice. So I move a bit to get the car out, but now I'm too close to the building. And I want the whole building. So I take a step back. This is much, much better. But now I have those tree branches on the right that I don't like. So I move around a bit and oops, looks like I didn't use my grid lines because what did the horizon do here? So I take another photo. Now the horizon is straight. The car on the left is gone. The tree branches on the right are gone. I can see the whole building. The street gives a little bit of depth, and I'm happy with the photo. So here you can see how I came to this photo in the 6 steps. The more you photograph, the more familiar you get with it, the more it becomes muscle memory, and you do it without thinking much about it. But the takeaway here is be mindful of what you have in your frame, what you have in the photo. And now let's jump back to cell phone photography. A very nice thing of a camera is usually you have lenses on them that can zoom. And a cell phone camera doesn't have those big lenses that professional photographers have. They have just one lens and they do zoom in a way that is called digital zoom. That means it doesn't have optical elements in the lens that move around to properly zoom into an image, make it larger or smaller. So when you zoom with a cell phone camera, you do not properly zoom. All you do is you enlarge the image that the camera is capturing. So and if you've ever looked, if you've ever enlarged something too much, you see how it can get fuzzy. So there can be a loss of quality when you use digital zoom. Now, naturally, there's not just one way or another way. There are some cameras with different lenses or with several lenses. There are some cameras with zoom lenses, which is called hybrid zoom. And there's a lot happening with development. So who knows, perhaps in a year or two, cell phone cameras have proper optical zoom too. And those of you who have been here last time remember probably when I said this, is just zoom with your feet. Because a cell phone camera does not really zoom optically, you're probably better done if you zoom with your feet. So get in as close as you safely can to take your photo, and emphasis also on safely. The photos I've showed you before, my wife was with me looking out for cars because I don't want to stand out in the street without looking around. So be safe. So to show the difference here, to show what optical zoom does or digital zoom, this is in Morristown. I was down by the high school, took a photo of the scoreboard, and this is 100 yards away. This is across the football field. But I actually wanted to have a photo of the scoreboard, not the whole thing around the houses, the field. I just want the scoreboard. So I zoomed in as far as I could with my camera, with my cell phone. And there's still a lot more than I want. So if I edit the photo on my phone, if I zoom in if I go into photo editing and crop in, this is what I get. So you can see it's not really sharp. You can barely read it. It's somewhat fuzzy. And how can I make this better? By walking up to it. So I walked 100 yards, and you see to the right, you see the photo that I take when I'm standing in front of the scoreboard. This is just one of the drawbacks that you have with a cell phone camera, because it's not built for professional photography use. What the camera sees versus what you see, that seems like a funny thing to say, but a camera sees something when a camera sees something, it sees just that. It's whatever it is pointed at. When we look at something, it's not just what we see, but then something is happening in our brains. We're interpreting what we're seeing. We're thinking of, oh, we've been there, we like this place, or we somehow filter out elements that are in the way, but we know they're not part of it, or they're not always there. So we sometimes do not realize that there's stuff in the image that does not help the image. To demonstrate this, there's a building in the background that I really like. I know the building, so I know what it looks like. I know what is behind the memorial, the plaque, the big plaque. So I kind of interpret that, and I know this is a nice image. This is a nice scene. And I also, those orange polars and chains, when I look at the image, I don't really see it, but the camera is relentless. It just captures it. So I move behind or beyond that plaque, and here's the fountain, but I still don't like those orange cones. I move to the fountain. This is much better, but I think I could zoom in a little bit. So I like this a bit better. But I'm still not happy with the photo. There's still something missing. There's still not special. So I walk to the building. I don't know if you see, it's the door in the center of the image. This is what it looks like from up close. It's nice, but I still don't think it makes a good photo for me. I'm not happy with it. I step back and I see this. And this is, oh, something I like. I like to photograph lines and shadows and buildings, so I'm happy with this. This is the recap of all these 6 images. And remember, if you look at the image on top right with the fountain, now I am standing by that building to take that photo on the bottom right. So what happens if I look back, if I turn around? Look at that. So not only is it good to walk up to things or to buildings or objects, once you're done with your photo, turn around, see what's behind you. It could be even a better photo than you were hoping for. So now back to cell phone photography. I keep jumping around between cell phone photography and improving your craft, because what comes now is somewhat hard to grasp, very technical, and a lot of words that I don't understand, to be honest. So that's why I kept mixing it up to just keep everybody fresh. So what is an image sensor and why does it matter? So the image sensor is that little element in your camera that captures the light. In the olden times, it used to be film or slide film. Now it's a digital sensor. And the sensor has pixels on it. And those pixels are those light-sensitive things. They're like little, you can imagine, they're like little wells capturing light. And you've probably heard how many megapixels this camera, how many megapixels that camera. So that's the count of how many pixels are on a sensor. If I want to go with a few more words, is the size of the pixels influences how well they can capture light and color. So if you have very small pixels, they cannot capture as much light and color as bigger pixels. So that translates into sharpness, and also with how they perform in dark situations, low light performance, as we call it. And to recap this, smaller pixels and smaller sensors, that's what cell phones have compared to cameras. Their sensors are smaller. The 2 main reasons why images can look noisy, especially when you photograph in the dark. And combining with digital zoom, as I showed before, it can contribute to pixelated images that just don't look sharp. This is it's a chart showing in relation the different sensor sizes. So The second largest, the 35 millimeter full frame, that's the size of the sensor in my camera. If you look down at the bottom left, 1 over 2.5 or 1 over 1.8, that's about a cell phone sensor. So you can see how much smaller a sensor in a cell phone is compared to a camera. Did I say how small a cell phone in a sensor is? No, how small a sensor is in a cell phone compared to a camera. And this, if you want to read it afterwards, go ahead. This is what Wikipedia says about sensors. Knock yourself out. This is way too much. So now I've been talking about how difficult it can be using a cell phone, what the drawbacks are, the technical ones, but there are plenty of advantages. Why would anyone want to use a cell phone? Well, it's portable. You have it in your pocket. You have it with you. You have it on you. It's all in one. You can take photos with it. You can do videos with it. You can edit. You can share easily. Once you have a photo, you can send it to somebody. You can post it somewhere. And you don't need to buy an expensive camera. Those professional cameras are really, really expensive, unfortunately. And now that the technical stuff is gone, let's look at the fun stuff. One important way to take stronger photos is photograph what you like. Because if there's something that you like, you just are happy to be around it, happy to photograph it, you're interested in it, and it's just more fun. So what do I like to photograph? I like to photograph buildings and lines. Lately I've started to play with camera movement, so I add a little bit of shake in my images, like the two ones on the right. I like empty places, I like geometry, I like abstract, I like repetition, and I like photographing Special Olympics. This hasn't happened lately, unfortunately, as everybody knows, but hopefully we're all back soon. So, how to upload images for the contest. This is the form, and now let me go to, there we go. I went back to the wrong one, my apologies. Here it is. How to upload the images. Once you take your images to the 3 categories that we haven't revealed yet, you can enter your name, your email address, your role with Special Olympics New Jersey. I am a volunteer. That's because we have different categories or subcategories within the categories. One is for athletes, one for volunteers. Morris County, where was the photo taken? Which photo am I uploading? I forget which one I'm uploading. I think that was that one, Asbury Park, I believe. If it's wrong, please forgive me. When was the photo taken? So this is important because the contest starts February 1 and runs until February 28. We would like you to take photos then because we want to see fresh photos, because in the end, what we want is that everybody is active, goes out and has fun. So let's say this was taken on February 1. Don't, or whenever you did take the photo, but in this case, let's say it was February 1. Now I select the photo I want to upload. Oh no, this was not Asbury Park. This was Norristown, New Jersey. Then I select the category, and if you're quick, you may see them right now. Don't look too fast. Here we go. And it's uploaded. And then you get a little confirmation that the photo has been uploaded. Now, sorry about that. Here we go. And back to this. So now, drum roll, please. As I said before, this winter, or actually always, Special Olympics New Jersey wants you to get outside, stay active, and take photos. Category 1, my workout. I hope everybody is working out. I'm trying to work out a lot. So the photos for my workout category could show what are you doing to stay active. Are you doing virtual events, online workouts, running in the park, walking around your neighborhood? We are all doing something different. So share a creative photo of you and your activities. If you have a workout buddy, you can take a photo of your workout buddy. So these are some examples of workout photos. To the left, if let's say I run steps every day, those are the steps I run. Or I do yoga, or I play tennis. Those would be the photos. I run the track, or I go out and hikes on trails, or or I lift tires. No, I kick them. I cannot lift them yet. Category 2, well, it's winter. So how about winter scenes? Winter scene is, when we first think about it, is, oh, it's snow, icicles, cold, snowmen, snow women, trees with no leaves, people bundled up. But if there's not much snow, we can, like right now, there's no snow here, we can take photos of what does winter mean, or what changes does winter bring over other seasons. So I went down to Asbury Park last week, where it's empty, the boardwalk is empty, or no one is playing mini golf. Or in the woods on my walks, there are barren trees, it's winter. Or we had some snow a few days ago or a few weeks ago, so try to take snow photos or ice photos. And the final one, my town. So the idea here is that you show us where you live, show us your town. It could be a famous landmark, it could be the town sign. It's just something that represents where you live. Like, I don't live in that taco place, but yeah. So it could be what your favorite store or your favorite small business. It could be the train station, the high school, or bottom right, there's a National Historic Park where I live. George Washington's troops were here, and that's been part of one of the forts that we had there, or that they had there. So the summary, the categories are my workout, winter scene, my town. The time frame is February 1 to February 28. If you have any questions, send them to Matt or send them to me. Also, if the questions do not need to be just about the contest, if you have any questions regarding photography in general, please write. Don't be shy. And at the bottom is a link to a presentation that I held about a year ago about visual storytelling that goes into how to use photos to tell stories. Thank you very much. Have fun. That's important. I didn't write stay safe because that should be a given. Stay safe. And we are looking forward to seeing your beautiful photos. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Marco. Awesome stuff. So a lot of information. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to Marco or myself. I have all your email addresses, so I'm going to share the slides with you tomorrow morning, and then with all that information, and then the website, the web page you have to go to submit your photos. That'll be up soon. Obviously, you don't need it till February 1st. It'll be the first time you can submit photos. But I will make sure you guys get all that information. Remember, this contest is open to everybody, not just athletes, but it's open to coaches, to family members. If you go on a hike with a family member and they take a better photo than you, get them to submit it under their name. I want to see as many photos as we can. We had 170 last time. I want to get more than 200 this time. So please share this with your friends, with your teammates, with your family members, with anybody to do with Special Olympics. We look forward to seeing particularly the towns.
How many photos I have to send to win?
You can send a maximum of 5 in each category. So the most 5? You can send is 15. Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. So anybody else have any more questions before we go?
We have a quick look at the chat.
Or you can just unmute yourself now if you have a question.
I have a bad arm.
The iPad is, Patrice mentioned my iPad takes better photos. The iPad, I prefer taking photos with the cell phone because it's smaller and I have it with me. The advantage of the iPad to me is because it's bigger, I hold it steadier. With the cell phone, I get a bit jerky once in a while. The iPad is steadier. I'm not sure it does take better photos because I think, and I'm not sure on that one, I think the sensor is the same size, but because the screen is bigger, it looks better. But this goes back to whatever camera you have on you, that's the best camera you have. So if you feel best with the iPad, by all means, use the iPad.
Yeah, my problem that I had, I missed out on a couple of really good shots because when I was about to take them, the battery died on the phone. Because after you take like 2 or 3 pictures, the battery power just drops.
Yeah.
There was also a couple of times that you get a good opportunity to take a photo, but you can't find a place to park to take the picture.
Yeah. By all means, stay safe. Don't take a photo while driving. And that with the battery life, that's one of the drawbacks of a cell phone or of an iPad. I don't have an iPad yet. It's just these do so many things that it just drains batteries. My camera, which is again, try putting this in your pocket compared to this one. My camera takes thousands of photos on one battery charge, but I cannot really make great phone calls with my camera. It doesn't work. It looks weird when I walk around like this and try to talk. but
All right.
I think to sum this up, it's just whatever camera you have on you, whatever camera you're comfortable with, use it.
And I have 5 tablets, 1 iPad, and I have a new iPhone 11.
Nice.
Cool.
The
Very good.
11, I
It can
think,
take
has
good
great camera.
pictures.
Yeah, I think that the 11 takes great images. I have the 10, which is quite good. I think.
Yeah, mine's the XR. iPhone XR.
But
Yeah.
also, I see people taking great photos with equipment that's not so great. This comes back to whatever your vision and your creativity is. That's what's important. I'd rather have somebody take a great photo with a bad camera than a bad photo with a great camera.
All right, guys. I think that's it for questions. So once again, thank you, Marco. That was awesome. Look forward to seeing your guys' photos, and let's start taking them. You can start going out now, but then start submitting February 1st. Start taking those photos February 1st. We have the month of February, and then we'll announce some winners in early March.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Marco.
Bye.
Bye, Patrice.